And we're live. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. Let me hit the music to make it official. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the WTH podcast. Without the music and the DJ intro, it wouldn't really be a show now, would it? It would be, but it wouldn't be the same show. It's not the show that you pay your hard-earned money. Oh, no, it's free. Well, shit. All right. Happy Valentimes Day to everybody. We're recording this on Monday, and February 14th, the year of our Lord 2022. Valentimes Day. If you're one of those people who pronounces it that way. Oh, boy. Coming up on the show today, we've got a lot to get to. We got some goddamn morons. We've got goddamn moron celebrity edition. I salute the Chicago White Sox for a decision that they have made. We'll talk about that. And whatever else comes across our little brains as we talk about the show. All right, so we're going to talk about the Super Bowl in just a minute. But what else you got for non-Super Bowl items that you'd like to chat about? Jason, what's on your mind? Jason's muted himself.
I don't want any buzzing to go through.
Yeah.
I am at that point where I have a certain amount of anticipation about the upcoming vacation that we're having next Sunday in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Because so good. And so there's just like a little bit of stress because it's like until you're in the air at the place, is it even going to happen?
Why wouldn't it happen?
There's a lot of reasons why. Well, there's a big reason why that could happen that we wouldn't be able to go.
North Korean nuclear strike?
That somebody catches COVID in the household
the vid.
Between now and then. Yeah.
Right.
So that is, luckily though, because we're all vaccinated, we don't have to have PCR tests before we go there. Not luckily, but I mean, we should be going unless one of us gets sick.
What about the little one who's not old enough to get vaccinated? Does she have to get a PCR test?
No, under 5, traveling with parents that are vaccinated does not.
Okay. Well, I did not know, so I was not sure. So there we have it. Oh boy. Kareem, what about you? What's on your mind?
I didn't talk about it last week, but I kind of wanted to bring it up. So the Miami Dolphins hired the 49ers offensive coordinator to be their new coach.
Correct. Did the Dolphins make you cry?
No, the Dolphins didn't make me cry.
Oh, okay.
But the fact that the 49ers got a 3rd-round pick or 2 3rd-round picks for having mentored a guy who's passed for white was kind of ironic.
Well, he passed for white, but he is, in fact, mixed race.
Whatever, dude. He's been passing until it benefited him. And actually, I don't even think he wanted the people to know. I think the 49ers outed him so they could get their draft picks, and the NFL outed him so that they could fight Brian Flores' lawsuit by saying that they hired a black person.
Yeah. Okay. Well, did somebody besides the Dolphins hire a black head coach, maybe?
Them or the Texans hired Lovie Smith, but that's because the guy that really runs the Texans is a pastor, and Lovie's Christian school of coaching, so that's how he got hired. And again, so that is Brian Flores' his lawsuit. But just anytime you ask a black person, especially one that looks white, how they identify and they don't say black or they say mixed race, that means they're passing. That means they don't want nobody to know that they're black. And back in the day, it happened, but it's really I think this might be one of the first ones I've seen this publicly in a long time. And then the fact that the next day after his press conference went so bad that ESPN wrote a story about him. They had a black writer write a story about him and how his parents had to deal with racism to make it seem to kind of assuage the shit that he fucked up the day before.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and maybe this isn't it, but is it possible that he didn't want anybody to know because the NFL has a really terrible record of hiring black head coaches?
That's passing, man.
No, I understand that, but do you really blame him given the circumstances?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still on the idea of like asking somebody that possibly is African American or not African American how they identify. I mean, come on, man. If I said that to any black person that I knew, like, excuse me, how do you identify? Or like somebody that was like, they're like, what do you fucking want? Why? Who wants to know? I mean,
you wouldn't have to ask the question. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And the only reason they asked him the question is because either it didn't come up until that point. It's like nobody knew he was. It's pretty much probably that nobody knew he was black until the 49ers or the NFL announced it.
Well, that's like EJ, everybody, in Folsom when he was going to school thought he was white, and then his dad came and picked him up, and they're like, oh, and then that's when it all started. But it wasn't until then, you know what I mean? Like, because he's passing, and he didn't. I don't think he purposely. But at the same time, he says he gets a lot. Sometimes he gets a good earful of stuff because of it. On both sides, he has black people sometimes start talking shit. He's like, yo, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know about EJ for a long. Not that it made any difference one way or another, because I'm not sorting. It's like I have this many black friends. All I need is Kareem. That's all.
Well, you do a podcast with him, so
Kareem is black. Kareem is black enough that I don't need any other black friends to categorize.
I'm the black friend for a lot of people.
I don't count. So when I found that out about EJ, I'm like, isn't that something? That was my reaction. I was like, okay, great. Anyway, I
asked his dad, "Are you sure?" I'm just kidding.
You never know.
So.
Are we done that topic? I'm sorry, I had to walk away to get something. All right,
I wanted. It looked like for some reason I thought Kareem was watching something. Like, is there? There's no NFL game on, is there? There's no Monday Night Football.
No, we finished that yesterday. You might have heard. We'll talk about it in a minute.
But even,
if I've ever offended you, I just wanted to say I'm sorry that your mom raised a bitch.
Just gonna say I've been spending more time on TikTok lately, and there are some things that have made me chuckle quite hard, and that's one of them. So
I mean, right? That's the best part of it.
It was like,
5 minutes on there and get some good laughs.
It's like Nate finally fell down.
Yeah, I fell down the TikTok rabbit hole. Well, if you spend enough time on it, their algorithms kind of figure out what you like, and you get more of it. Plus, you like some things, so I just wanted to talk about that. I was bound and determined that we were not going to talk about Joe Rogan this week.
Oh, come on.
And we're not. We're going to talk about
God.
Don Jr. defending Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan and the controversy surrounding really what appears to me very clearly to be the left's attempted cancellation of him. Right? He's gotten too much power. He's gotten too big an audience. He doesn't just blindly follow the narrative, and therefore he must be eliminated. Notice that the people are doing it. It's pretty clear that it's literally a Democrat super PAC. And a company that works with them that went and found clips of him saying a bad word. Now, he's not saying that bad word like cursing it at someone. He's literally quoting someone else using the word and talking about it. Okay, so there's a difference and there's a context that no one seems to have any interest in talking about, certainly not the people who are trying to cancel him. But the answer is really this, guys. You never cave to the mob. You never give them a single inch. They could not care less about your apology, I promise you. So we got to stay.
Okay. So first,
I hope they remember. Oh yeah.
No, just no, just no. Joe Rogan has to be there going, dude, come on, man, stop helping.
Yeah.
It's like, the last thing I need. This cokehead helping me out.
I just like the whole thing about a mob, don't follow the mob, don't cave to the mob. Like, does he mean that for his own people too, when they're a mob, like not to cave to them?
the January 6th mob, that mob, we shouldn't, that the mob we're talking about.
And any of these possible truckers.
We'll talk about the truckers later on. The Sean Hannity's ominous warning of what was going to happen with the truckers at the border, and versus what actually happened with the truckers at the border. But now let's get to the Super Bowl. Did you guys watch the Super Bowl? Jason, since you were asking about Monday Night Football, I'm guessing no.
No, yeah, we did. Well, no, I thought in my mind, I thought Kareem was watching something, and in my head, it was like, oh, it's Monday, so it's probably football. And then I was like, oh, it's definitely not football, because it was the Super Bowl. So I was letting you in on my mental process.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I watched it. We watched the whole thing.
Any thoughts on the Kareem? I know you watched the game.
The game went pretty much the way I expected it, except for Cincinnati didn't win.
It was very close. It was very interesting once Odell Beckham Jr. Went out of the game, kind of how things evolved and changed, and yeah, it was. I mean, it was a good game. It was a close game. I think the important thing was that we won some squares in the pool.
Yeah, I'm still mad I didn't get a chance to put my money on the Bengals because they still at least covered the point spread.
Yeah. Yep. It was. They had a good accounting of themselves.
After the score was 13-10 at halftime, I was like, "Oh, they're going to win this," because every game this season that it's been like that, they've in the second half they've been the better team. The holding call in the final 2 minutes was a bullshit call. The one on the linebacker, the one that happened after that, the pass interference on the cornerback was bullshit, especially after you've been letting them play all game. Like,
yeah, we're gonna tighten up at the end of the game.
Yeah, you can't. If you're calling it tight the whole game, that's one thing. If you're not calling it like that the whole game, and then you decide to do it in the last 2 minutes, that's bullshit.
Let me ask you this: the halftime show, because I've seen the entire spectrum. Was it the best halftime show ever?
No.
Jason?
That was pretty good. Better than most years.
That wasn't the question. So you answer the second question. Was it the worst ever? Because I've seen a lot of that, mostly from angry white people.
That's what I figured.
It's been a lot of that. The New York Post broke a big story.
Oh,
Big story. I'm going to break the big story about the New York Post. They are low-key racists. As they put out the headline, Snoop Dogg smokes weed right before star-studded Super Bowl 2022 halftime show.
No fucking duh. What the fuck?
So it's California. Smoking weed here is very legal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfectly legal. That's like Snoop Dogg had a beer before going on stage.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Duh.
Yeah.
The fuck up with that shit. Snoop Dogg.
Might as well say Willie Nelson smoked weed before he went on stage.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was good. I thought it was nice that every single one of them got their own Barbie dream house to sing on. You know, and 50 Cent got the one that you could hang upside down from the rafters on. So, I mean, my biggest critique would be maybe, I don't know, a lot less Mary J. Blige. Either Kareem's frozen or he's pissed.
No,
he might be.
Because they get a groove going, and then it would be Mary J's turn, and it's like, oh,
yeah,
this doesn't fit.
I thought it was.
All.
I thought it was great that they all like sang. Or not, you know, they all rapped. They really rapped, and you could tell it because like they had the undertrack there, like in case it, you know, got out. Like, so that was cool to see that. I wish that some of them would have done different songs, or they would have done like, but they were never going to make people happy with that part of it, you know.
It doesn't matter what you do; someone's going to be pissed about it. So,
yeah.
I thought Eminem should have done the entirety of Stan. All right, Super Bowl, are you ready to get bummed out? Get ready for a 6-minute bummer.
Should have cleaned it out my closet.
I think you should have just busted out that Machine Gun Kelly diss track that made Machine Gun Kelly get out of rap.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Start doing
Go into movies.
Yep.
yeah.
He's gonna bust that right out of there. But all in all,
I mean, honestly, is the favorite that I've seen. Like, as far as like, it's all guys that I totally have listened to my entire growing. Like, I've been listening to Dre since NW. Like, since I was old enough to really kind of listen. You know, 8, 9 years old. I mean, when I shouldn't have been listening. But it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was the best. I mean, you know, as I'm sure Kareem would say, Prince was pretty amazing. It was fucking raining.
Look, there will never be anything better than the Prince halftime show. I'm just going to say that to me.
And I remember it. It was pretty amazing. Like, I thought it was going to be canceled. I remember thinking they were going to cancel it, that it wasn't going to happen. And they're like, no, we're going to do this shit.
That's one that a lot of people cite as being the quote unquote best ever. And I don't know that there is a best one ever. Everybody has one that they happen to like.
In high heels in the rain.
Yeah.
The Lady Gaga halftime show a few years ago in Houston was really, really good. It's just what you prefer. For me, one that stands out that I remember was Aerosmith with Britney Spears and NSYNC.
Oh,
and that
man. That's I mean, I feel like that's when Aerosmith took their like Chicago in the second half of their career turn.
That was when they were, that was the don't want to miss a thing Aerosmith.
Yeah, that's that's the
By the way,
Chicago.
that was
80s Chicago.
the thing is, that's chapter 3 Aerosmith. You had original Aerosmith.
Yeah,
You had,
which was dirty.
We're not on drugs anymore Aerosmith. That was like 86.
True.
That was Janie's Got a Gun Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And then there was Grandpa Rockin' Aerosmith that came in later.
Yeah, but 86 Aerosmith was, you could thank Run DMC for them.
That is what brought them back. Yeah.
Run DMC
made
absolutely them relevant again.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they came out with 2 albums back to back that were absolute fire.
Well, and I mean, we should thank Rick Rubin for that, because like they didn't want to let any rap on the TV, and Rick Rubin's like, oh, we can do this, and they have to let it like on. Like this is how we're gonna do it. This is what we're gonna do.
And you can thank Rick Rubin for the 3-part interview series with Paul McCartney. Is it 3 or 6 parts? I think it was Rick Rubin. I'm pretty sure it was Rick. It was on Hulu. It was Rick Rubin interviewing Paul McCartney.
Malcolm Gladwell.
No, it was not Malcolm Gladwell. It was
him and Rick
not
Rubin.
Malcolm.
him and Rick Rubin have a podcast together.
Oh yeah, they did. They did. Yeah. They do have a podcast together. They do.
But this was
Malcolm Gladwell has a podcast with Paula Simon.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Does this sound?
Yeah. It was. We're getting a little into the weeds here.
Yeah, we are. We're in the weeds. We're in the weeds.
I need to look this up now. Rick Rubin. I'm gonna
have to look it up.
Yes, Rick Rubin did a long form, multi-part documentary with Paul McCartney, and they just listen to music in a studio and talk about it.
Awesome.
There are clips of it all over YouTube, and that's how I saw it first. But it's a multi-part series on Hulu, and a great companion watch to Get Back, if you're interested in that.
Oh man, Get Back was great.
It was all right. I may get back and watch it again.
It's one of those deals. It's one of those things that you can have on a lot in the background.
Yeah, when you don't have Encanto on. I will say this. So I'm engineering the Cool Kids Table podcast on Saturday, and at the end they are talking about what music you're listening to. And J-Red is he is Hispanic, and he has little kids, and he goes Nate Dogg, what are you listening to? And I said, well, I have little kids, so I'm listening to the Encanto soundtrack. And he goes, what's that? And Paul Scorch lit him up. He's like, bro. You never heard that?
Yeah.
Like, talk about an on the nose. You've got little kids, and this is absolutely totally in your wheelhouse. So Lin-Manuel Miranda doing that one. Anywho, so that's our happy talk. Now let's talk about this. The annual Global Democracy Index dropped to its lowest score since tracking began in 2006, with just 45.7% of the world's population living in a democracy of some sort. Here's the part of the problem. The ongoing political polarization during Biden's first year in office contributed to a dramatic decline in the U.S. being branded a flawed democracy that saw its score drop from 7.92 to 7.85. So, we've fallen out of full democracy into flawed democracy. So we're below all the Scandinavian countries, Australia, Canada. We are now.
Yeah, Nate. Listen, they stole the last election. All right, Nate. I've been telling you this. All right, they stole this last election. Of course, it's going to drop.
We're now in the territory of Spain. Just just to see where we're falling. Italy, Spain, France. That's where we fall in terms of.
Does Spain still have royalty? Do they still have prince or princess?
I believe they do, but I believe they are figureheads, just like in the UK. I don't believe they are royalty with any power. So,
yeah,
we've lost
Kareem. Suck one, dude.
That's really weird. He popped back in. I didn't add him back in. He just popped back in. He's getting more powerful, like Doctor Strange.
Oh shit!
Welcome back, Kareem.
I lost both of you there for a minute.
You completely went away. Your picture went away and everything. Anyway, our democracy is a problem. We're not as full of democracy as Japan, the UK, Germany, and Canada. So there we go. All right, this next thing I just titled Jesus Christ. Why? Well, Lauren Boebert, representative from Colorado, Rifle, Colorado to be exact, went on to Mike Huckabee's terrible talk show. Why is it a terrible talk show? Because Mike Huckabee is on it and he's awful. He's the worst. He is the worst. No, he's the worst. He's the absolute worst. I'm not backing down off of that one. I don't care if I'm the tip of the spear on this one. I'm going to stick with that. All right, let's hear what Lauren Boebert. See what Lauren Boebert says about herself and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
At home, and so I believe that as a Christian, that frustration that we feel on the inside of us sometimes is really just God's motivation to send us to where we need to be a part of the solution, and it led me here.
I have been very impressed that you are not afraid to speak openly about your faith and how it defines you.
Right.
It is clear that you're not timid and you're not afraid to let people know that you are a Christian believer and that that's what gives you your core values and your core strength. Do you find that people sometimes are wanting you to say, just tone it down a little bit, Congresswoman, just tone it down? Do you hear that?
I think that people would love if I would tone it down. But, we had our Lord Jesus that certainly didn't tone it down for anyone. We had the apostles who carried this message of the gospel. And even the leaders in their days, they said, it's fine.
Okay. Jesus didn't tone it down. So what's your problem? Why are you asking her to tone it down?
Wow.
Because you're fucking crazy. People are asking you to tone it down because you're fucking crazy. Not because of your religious beliefs. Listen, nobody tells Biden to lower his Catholicism, all right? Stop going to church every Sunday, bro. All right? You're doing too much.
Fuck.
He's a minister, and he just compared her to Jesus. Isn't that
he's the worst? You're just reinforcing my point. He is the absolute worst. He's the worst. He's the aw shucks, look at me, ha ha ha. I'm gonna make some jokes about blah blah blah. He's the worst. The worst. But
isn't it somewhere in your Bible that you're not supposed? Isn't that like some kind of? I don't know. It's something in the Bible against that. I just know it.
I
don't know it, but I know it.
He has the white Bible. Kareem. He has the one that they get, the special white people get, that are in special clubs.
Special. He's special, all right.
It's a special club Bible.
It's all right. So Boebert's on Huckabee's terrible show, and Marjorie Taylor Greene went on Real America with Dan Ball and said this.
only do we have the DC jail, which is the DC gulag, but now we have Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police spying on members of Congress, spying on the legislative work that we do, spying on our staff, and spying on American citizens that want to come talk to their representatives. This government has turned into something it was never meant to be, and it's time to make it end.
Okay.
It's a lot to unpack there.
There is. There is. I don't think she would categorize the DC jail as the DC gulag for the African American people that are in the DC jail. The American citizens that they're investigating for talking to the representatives are the ones who, what did they do? Oh, yeah, they stormed the Capitol to foment an insurrection and overturn an election.
No, they didn't. They stormed the Capitol to get the stuff to make the gazpacho.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police.
Oh, man. That fucking, you know what? More than anything, fuck her, because me making a stupid joke about loving Gestapo, a nice cold Gestapo soup.
Uh-huh.
I get flagged. My account gets flagged. They remove the joke.
What?
They remove the joke. And I can't go live anymore. I can't follow the show right now on my phone and comment because it doesn't allow me to do that right now. And like
Jason's dangerous comedy.
And yeah, so like, you know what? I just fucking doubled down and I made another Gestapo joke. Because fuck that shit. I mean, like, I don't care. And like, whatever. But at the same time, like,
wow.
Stupid. It's quite obviously not. Algorithms don't care. Algorithms
don't necessarily have the context.
Yeah.
And they don't get jokes.
But
algorithms don't get jokes.
But when you and I understand that the algorithm gets something because Gestapo is listed as a militarized police or something of that nature. It goes against our community standards. Totally get that. But when I then like do the hey, I'm going to push back on this and appeal it, and it says okay, it can take up to 48 hours to get back to you on this, you know. And 30 minutes later, they come back and say, nope, it's definitely against our community guidelines. You're fucking, you know, in jail for a couple weeks until we think it's better. Like, and then I have to appeal to a board. Like, get the fuck out of here. And they only hear a percentage of those complaints come to the board.
You might be better off just doing your time and moving on.
Well,
fuck that.
I mean, after they found out what the joke was or that she had said it, you should have been let out of jail. That's bullshit.
Well, he made the joke based on that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk about gazpacho. Like, I'm not going to talk about Gestapo
or
like,
Bruno.
I would never
not about
it.
Bruno
or Bruno. I listen about Bruno.
Can't do it.
No. No.
All right. So an influencer walks into a hotel and this happens.
Shaking right now because I came to a restaurant to shoot content and they just discriminated against me and told me that I'm not allowed to sit down and eat food because I don't have a vaccine card. And I'm just beside myself at the fact that these people right here can say that it's not discrimination. What do you call that? You're trying to do your job. Everybody's trying to do their job. Do you understand what happened in the 1940s in Nazi Germany when people had to pull out cards there?
I'm not happy about this either.
It's discrimination. Yeah, get a manager because I have a large following on my account and I'm putting this place on blast. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You think that I'm going to sit here and allow you to discriminate against me and not say something and not get loud about it? And you're just...
Ma'am, you're trespassing. You need to leave. That's honestly, that's the next thing.
That's in the conversation.
Yeah, end of the conversation. Ma'am, I'm asking you to leave. If you don't leave, you're trespassing, and we will have you arrested. Let's see what the manager does.
Doing your job? Unbelievable. Everybody's just doing their job. Nobody has balls. I'm not going to step outside. I'm waiting for the manager. Good. Bring the manager. This is absolutely ridiculous. And then to say that it's not discrimination is absolutely more ridiculous.
I mean, at least she has a really pleasant voice.
I'm literally shaking right now. So I came out because I wanted to shoot some content for One God, and I came here to have some lunch, and then I was going to shoot some content. I was told that this type.
I was going to shoot some content for One God. One God. I mean.
Yeah, this is the content you came to shoot. This is the content she came.
Wow, Jason was smited right there in mid-sentence. Let's let this play out.
Was open. This is the first time that I've been discriminated against since they started this jab card thing, and I don't go out into public because of it. And I came in here and they told me that I can't sit down and I can't have lunch because I don't have a vaccine card. Are you freaking kidding me? Unbelievable. And everybody just sits here and has nothing to say. Bunch of freaking weaklings.
I don't think you can find the answer.
Nazis, sheep, losers.
She seems nice.
And she's filming for One God, huh?
One God. You heard her. And that's at the Hampton Social in Barrington, Illinois. Yeah, there's a part 2. Would you like to hear part 2? Let's hear the employees.
Can't wait.
Yeah, don't bring your manager out. That's fine. Screw all of you people.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. I gotta get the F out of here. I cannot live in this state anymore. So pissed. Goodbye.
You know what she really needs? And I will say this as someone who understands what she's trying to do here. What she really needs is a windscreen on that microphone. Because she walked outside and was like, I can't even make it. Hold on. Let's see if I can make it.
No, you know what she really needs? She needs some batteries.
I do, but I can't say it publicly.
She needs some batteries. That's what she needs. Some Duracells.
Oh man, some Ever Ready, Energizer. They keep you going.
Yeah. Also in Illinois, there are some parents protesting their kids outside their kids' school.
I'm sure they're protesting something.
Go get some rest, push some fluids, and then you're back at it. If people would just stop being afraid and live, this virus would go away. And I just don't understand how a school that's 2 blocks over from my daughter's junior high can be mask optional. What's good for one is good for all. You can't pick and choose.
Okay, everybody has to wear a mask at every school because my guess is, and I'm just guessing here, is the one further over. The kids are all vaccinated.
Yeah.
If everybody's vaccinated, then you can have different rules.
And that is the case. And was it? I was watching Saturday. I was watching one of the news shows, and they showed the two schools in Ohio. And one of them, they wore masks. They only had like 13 cases. One of them, they wore masks depending on how you felt, and they had like 45 cases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. So just to be clear, go ahead.
And the school with the mask, they never closed. The school where masks were optional, they opened and closed several times.
Of course, it's bears out exactly what makes it, and they didn't do it just because like, oh well, I guess. No, you had COVID cases and you had to close because of them. Meanwhile, in California, we are the indoor mask mandate is going away for vaccinated people. That's the rule. Is if you're vaccinated, and this is as of I believe, I don't know if it's on the 15th or after the 15th.
I think it's
if you're go ahead.
I think it is the 15th.
Right, which is tomorrow as we're recording this.
Yes.
In California, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. The problem is the people who aren't vaccinated aren't going to be wearing masks. It's an honor system, and the people that are of the most danger to others are the ones that don't have the willingness to think of others. So this is what happened in July, June or July, when it went away for a few weeks, and then we got a spike. Hopefully that's not what's going to happen this time. We've had a ton of people get Omicron. We've had a lot more people get vaccinated and boosted. So hopefully that will bring the herd immunity up so that we don't have a surge. We'll see.
Yeah, clue hopes.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
So have you heard the story that Joe Biden is giving away crack pipes?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I got mine.
God. Week for posting that dumb shit.
So I heard this story and I immediately went, well, this doesn't seem right. So I searched, I Googled it and then did news, and I only saw it on right-wing blogs with names like Patriot something or Freedom or whatever it might be, and then Fox News and
not a Russia troll farm. USA number one.
Yeah, I saw no mention of it on any legitimate news source at all. They asked Jen Psaki at a press conference, but what about it? And she said that story was just reported. That was reported absolutely wrong. Here's what's in the kit. Obviously, there were no crack pipes. Now, Brent Scher, the executive editor at the Free Beacon, which started the fake Biden crack pipe story, admitted to the Washington Post that it was essentially made up, saying, "You're correct that the spokesman did not specifically say pipes in response to our questions." What's the consequence?
Now, all of the stupid black people that reposted this bullshit because they want to be on that Biden didn't do anything for black people thing. Oh, look at what he's doing. And it's designed to drive down the black turnout in 2022. And you had a bunch of dumbasses who fell right into it.
Yep. You know who ain't falling for anything? Rick Schroeder.
Oh.
I think we see what we're facing here. It's an evil that is trying to be forced upon our children and upon us. And God bless the Canadian truckers and the Canadian cowboys up there on the border. And I heard a great potential event's going to happen for us with our truckers are going to maybe start mobilizing and doing what we need to do, which is shut down DC, shut down Sacramento, shut down Albany, shut down these states and this capital until we root out this evil that was almost perpetrated upon us.
I mean, it's a great audition tape.
Yeah.
I don't know what crazy movie you're auditioning for, but kudos to you. Kudos to you for that. I mean, that's the best acting he's done in years. I mean, maybe since NYPD Blue.
It's funny when you learn why people aren't getting work anymore. And you're like, oh, okay.
Well, it's not because of his political beliefs. I mean, Kevin Sorbo.
No, because he's fucking crazy.
I've got 30 scripts in my production company right now at Sorbo Studios, and
delusional.
They're ready to go. I got crews, I got locations, I got everything for all of them. I'm just on the phone every day, going to funders, saying, guys, we need to change the culture here. And I keep telling these wealthy guys that I meet that throw millions of dollars at politicians. I say, I'm telling you right now, you have a better chance with me putting on movies like I do that reach a lot more people and have a better, more positive impact on them than any of these politicians are going to have. Trust me.
Oh man, they don't give a fuck, dude.
There's a lot to unpack there. So first of all, let's just look at the possibility that maybe Kevin Sorbo's scripts that he has in the pipeline are just hot garbage. Let's start with that. Then, if you think funding a Kevin Sorbo movie is going to get you more bang for your buck than giving that same amount of money to a bunch of Republican politicians, then you're an idiot, because they're the ones who make the rules and finesse stuff. Kevin Sorbo's movies, I don't know a single person who is like, yeah, Kevin Sorbo. Give me more of that guy. And even if they were, it's not like who is going to a movie and going, oh yeah. I mean, Don't Look Up will be the closest thing, but that's not because of the people in it. It's because of the message in it.
What has Kevin Sorbo did since Hercules that anybody's watching?
Well, and to be fair, more people watched the Xena Warrior Princess spinoff, which is really what grinds his gears. And pretty frequently, Lucy Lawless owns him on social media. So there's a lot to go with that. So, I mean, 6 to 1 half. Are you sad for Sorbo?
No.
He has all this. It's all lined up. It's all ready to go.
He just can't get anybody to give him the money.
Why won't people give me money to make my terrible movies? I don't understand.
I don't get it, dude.
But where is all that Hercules money?
Look, he's not spending his own money, Kareem. That would be stupid. He doesn't believe in his own. He doesn't believe in those shitty scripts enough to spend his own money to produce them. He might. Here's the thing. He might have done that with 1 or 2 movies, and then he found out he's not going to make his money back. Kirk Cameron makes a ton of movies that a very select group of people watch, and he makes a lot of money off of it. You don't see Kirk, as crazy as Kirk Cameron is, you don't see him out there going, why won't anybody fund my movies? Because he funds his own movies and they make a ton of money. So he's fine. So if Kevin Sorbo put his faith in himself and his movies were as successful as he thinks they are, then he'd be fine. But it's not. All right, we mentioned the truckers. And amongst other things, by the way, so this whole thing about the truckers needing to be vaccinated to cross the border, 90% of Canadian truckers are vaccinated. The ones that are blocking the streets in Ottawa, the trucking companies have said, we're going to find out who they are and we're going to let them go if they work for us, because we don't need that. We want our drivers to be vaccinated because we want them to be healthy. We want them to be on the road, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The whole thing at the border, there's like, oh, well, there's going to be at the border. And we'll let Sean Hannity talk about, what was going to happen.
With, of course, the advice of tough Joe Biden, who doesn't lift a finger to secure our southern border. Let the truckers make their own health decisions, leave them alone, and recognize that even fully vaccinated people with boosters can transmit COVID, or send in the troops and arrest the truckers. It's a peaceful protest. You know what's going to happen. All hell will break loose. That will be the government starting a fight. People may die. They're going to take the rigs, their livelihoods away from them? They're going to fine them $100,000 each They're going to put him in jail for a year? To me, the answer is obvious. Restore freedom, leave the heroes of the pandemic alone.
Okay, so pretty ominous stuff, right? Here's what ended up happening when this happened. Hold on, I have to everything has to load and then scroll. The convoy determined to end the COVID-19 restrictions by blocking traffic along the U.S.-Canadian border was largely cleared off a key bridge with relative ease on Saturday after a court order calling for the protests to disband. Despite that progress in restoring order, protesters on foot remained in the area with more streaming in, underscoring the fluidity of the situation that has sowed chaos in Ottawa and disrupted supply chains. The Ambassador Bridge, by the way, is open now. So it connects on Windsor, Ontario with Detroit. It is the busiest U.S.-Canadian border crossing. Basically, it just ended. It was like, okay, well, here's what's going to happen if you don't leave. And they went, oh, shit. We're going to go now.
Now, you want to hear the funny the funny part about this shit?
Yes.
Is that people in countries like Bangladesh and that make goods that we would buy, like Trump hats and shit.
Right.
They were online stoking this shit to sell merchandise.
Uh-huh.
To sell merch. Because they knew that people were stupid enough.
I mean, it makes sense.
Stupid enough to believe this shit. And yeah. So they were creating fake Facebook accounts and groups and all of this shit. Because Americans are stupid. Can't say it any other way.
Yeah. All right. So,
you know who's paying for all those truckers to be up there? Hot take.
Yes,
paying for it. George Soros.
Other side man.
No, all right. It's always George Soros, bro.
I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch this TikTok that I sent, because I sent a few, and this was one that I saw, and I paused on it, and it's from a Twitter, a TikTok account called Talkin' Knowledge. By the way, I just want to put out a disclaimer about Talkin' Knowledge. This knowledge is all a bunch of, well, you know what? You hear. Kareem, I'll let you decide what this knowledge is.
If you voted for the Democrats and this senile bastard in the White House in 2020, you can't say with a straight fucking face things are better in our country right now or around the world. Our southern border's wide open. Motherfuckers are just running through, invading us.
That's not happening. It's just not.
Something like 2.5 million illegal immigrants, migrants, whatever you want to call them, just all over the place in our country right now.
Just all over the place. All over the place.
People getting beat over the fucking head with their electric bills because of this administration's energy policies.
No, I have PG&E, and we're getting beat over the head with our electric bill because they have to pay for damages for burning down towns and killing people.
Yeah, and yours, depending on where you're at, well, who knows? It's state and local run, though. There's not a federal power.
Right, especially in Texas.
Against our natural resources, our abundant natural resources like oil, coal, natural gas.
This fool thinks he's smart. That is, it's the most fucking infuriating thing. When I see somebody sitting in their car, rambling on like they know shit about anything, fully confident that what they're spouting out of their shithole face is like the most profound thing ever.
This shit in Ukraine, if you think Joe Biden is going to do anything to stop Putin from doing whatever he's getting ready to do in Ukraine, you got another thing fucking coming. You know why I say that?
Yes. You got another. I enjoy how he also he pontificates, but every now and then he'll look over and look right into the lens. Like this is the thing.
Did you ever think about no, what did he just say a second ago? Like he was this fucking guy. This guy. He said something that was just so ridiculous a second ago. They're just like,
when Russia annexed Crimea, when Putin decided to say, you know what, I want to take Crimea back, who was president? Barack Obama. Who was the vice president? Joe fucking Biden.
Well, I guess you're right then.
Here's an unrelated fact that has nothing to do with this fact.
Here's why. I'll tell you why. Because this is what happened. In 1972, Watergate happened. And you know who was a young senator from Delaware? Joe Biden.
That's what it was. It's like when he tried to insinuate that, like, when he tried to insinuate that, like, Biden was working with Russia, like, that he was going to let Russia take over Ukraine, like,
right.
Like, that's not the way that, like, not even Trump's people were saying, like, that. You know what I mean? Like, Trump was just saying that, like, Trump was liked Putin. Thought he was a nice guy. Hung out with him.
Right.
He ain't doing shit. And you know why he ain't doing shit? Because, again, what's the first thing Joe Biden did when he came into office? He shut down the construction of the Keystone Pipeline. He shut down the construction of the Keystone Pipeline.
If you split it into two words, it doesn't make it any more important.
Pepperoni
and then
pizza.
Lifted all restrictions on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that belongs to Vladimir Putin. That's Russia, if you didn't know.
Putin. Did he give an eye look on
Xi
Putin?
Jinping is doing. He put the boot on Hong Kong, not under fucking Trump, under Biden. Taiwan.
Okay, this I can't listen to this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like, did he sleep through the Trump administration?
Look, in big letters at the top of this video, it says none of this shit was happening under Trump. And for some reason, he chose to use 2 exclamation points. So more than one, but not 3. What does that say about him? If I'm really
what does that say about him?
Right? What does it say? If I'm really convinced about something, I'm using 3 fucking exclamation points.
Yep.
3.
I'm a dumbass.
Jesus Christ. So yeah, well, there's a lot of stuff on TikTok that makes me laugh. There's a lot of stupid shit on TikTok too, just like everywhere else. All right, we're gonna skip Florida Corner to wrap the show on something that made me, and I'm sure it won't make there's a lot of people that are gonna be very upset about this, including the chick who wasn't allowed to sit down and eat in Illinois. And the guy with the PA system at his kid's school. So, Major League Baseball is not requiring minor league players to receive COVID-19 vaccinations in 2022. Excuse me. But at least one team is instituting its very own COVID-19 vaccine mandate. By the way, the Major League spring training is going to be delayed. They're still locked out, but the minor leagues will be happening. The Chicago White Sox informed minor leaguers that they must show proof of receiving a COVID-19 booster vaccine by the time they take their physicals on February 21st. Those who do not comply will be prohibited from participating in spring training and could ultimately land on the restricted list. That's according to sources familiar with the team's position. The White Sox also will not honor any request by players who are less than fully vaccinated to be released. Those players will not be able to pursue an opportunity with another organization that maintains a less stringent vaccination policy. The White Sox, though, are trying to guard against their plan turning into a mechanism for players to decline boosters as a way of getting out of the organization, and their position is nothing new. The team required all minor league players at spring training last year to be vaccinated. The players were 100% compliant, and the organization avoided any serious outbreaks during the season. It's not known how many. Go ahead, Kareem.
So way to go, White Sox.
Right? It's not known how many other teams, if any, are requiring their minor leaguers to receive COVID-19 boosters. Major leaguers protected by the Players Association are not subject to such mandates. News of the White Sox plans first were reported by ESPN, saying the Chicago White Sox are requiring all our employees to be up to date on their COVID-19 vaccination status, and this requirement extends to our minor league players as well. We believe this is the right thing to do to protect the health and well-being of all of our players and staff across the organization. So there you go. We end on that bit of news.
Two quick things before we go.
Sure.
Sarah Palin's lawsuit against the New York Times got thrown out.
Okie dokie.
And Donald Trump's accountant canceled him today.
Just before tax season? Oh, no.
Just before tax season. Everything that he's done for the last 10 years is not reliable, and they do not want to go to jail with him.
Oh, it's going to be a fun time. It is. Also, our Sacramento Kings now 2-1 after the series of trades before the NBA trade deadline. So I know, Kareem, you were very upset.
I'm still upset. I don't mind the Sabonis trade, but they gave up the wrong point guard.
The stats in Halliburton's first game in Indiana would say the same thing. Now the problem is you're assuming that they would have been able to get Sabonis with the other point guard, and I think that's probably the issue.
I think you might be right.
Even if you think they're go ahead.
And the other part of it was is that none of the other clubs realized that Halliburton was available. So there's a possibility that they could have got a better package than they did for him because they didn't know. Other people didn't know. Because all the other clubs were like, damn, we didn't know that he was available. Had we known, we'd have been more aggressive with the Kings.
Would you have been aggressive enough to take Buddy Hield in his garbage contract?
They were.
that was the real rub.
The teams were like, fuck, if we had known that he was available, we would have did whatever it took to get him.
Right. We would have drafted him in one of the first 11 spots and not let him fall to 12.
Yeah. They were like, we fucked that up that time. We weren't going to fuck it up again. But
yeah, De'Aaron, even if De'Aaron Fox, and if you think De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton are both the same quality, the same goodness, De'Aaron Fox is on a max deal. So he makes a big pile of money, whereas Halliburton does not yet. He still makes he still does okay for himself.
And De'Aaron Fox is not the same as Tyrese Halliburton. And
no.
I like De'Aaron as a player, but De'Aaron Fox is Tyrese Halliburton is Chris Paul. Is a young Chris Paul. He's not the most athletic guy, but he's really smart.
And wanted to be in Sacramento and threw himself into the community too. So
yeah,
it's a bit of a bummer to see him go, but welcome the two-time All-Star Sabonis and the other guys from Indiana, and we'll see how everything plays out the rest of this year. And the two to follow, because Sabonis is here for another 2 years unless they trade him. So we'll see how it all goes. But yeah, they lost to the Nets. They lost. I didn't see the box score. I just saw the score. The Brooklyn Nets also unloaded their bearded wonder, James Harden. Speaking of big contracts.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's all good. All right, well, that's going to do it for us for this episode of the WTH podcast. No matter where you listen, thank you for being part of what we do. We do appreciate you. And if you get a chance, please tell a friend about what we're doing if you think they would enjoy us. Next week, we are off. It's President's Day week.
Oh.
Jason will be do you want to say where you're going to be, Jason?
Kauai.
I will be on the California coast. So we are going to take the week off. We'll be back the following week, assuming Jason doesn't get thrown into a volcano.
Yes.
If Jason gets thrown into a volcano, Kareem and I will be back, and we'll be sad.
A little bit.
We'll be sad. We'll do the Jason's in memoriam volcano episode coming up on the 28th.
I mean, it'd probably be pretty quick, you know. I mean, you probably disintegrate in lava pretty quick.
Well, I mean, you would, but I mean, we might go 90 minutes with the episode. I don't know. Let's see. We can ask people to send in their memories of Jason. The problem is going to be there's going to be a lot of them about when you busted your leg up ski.
Luckily, not so much more, I don't think. But yeah, there will be a few chapters devoted to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people. If you said, "Give me your most vivid memory of Jason," it will be hearing the moment when you said, and I quote, "I'm going to make this mountain my bitch."
Yeah.
Now, you might want to tone it down a little when you're talking to a volcano.
Yeah. No.
Or maybe you step up. Here's what I would love to. Maybe you do a TikTok, and we start on a volcano, and we come down to you, and you say, "I'm going to make this mountain my bitch." That's the TikTok I want to see in my feed.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna attempt it, bro. Like, there's a lot of shit I do, but to say it in the immortal words of Meatloaf, I won't do that. No, not gonna. No, I saw what happened the last time I said it on a fucking mountain, bro. I'm not gonna say it to a volcano, even jokingly around. Fucking swallow me up. Be like, that's funny. And these are old mountains. These are mountains that are still spewing lava.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, there's that. I mean, but here's the other thing. So I encourage you to do that, and once you do that, I encourage you to then say this to the volcano.
Hey, listen. If I've ever offended you, I just wanted to say I'm sorry that your mom raised a bitch.
Have a great 2 weeks, everybody. We'll see you next time.